Hello and welcome to Murphy's Garden, and you join me today in the middle, heading towards the end of June. Been a bit of a challenging year. It started so well, so full of promise. Lots of everything was doing incredibly well, but we've had a bit of a setback. The weather has been awful. We've had no end of rain. It never stops raining, and the wind as well. I think the wind is the thing I dislike the least. It's so damaging and flattens everything. Has been a big problem. But the biggest problem that we've faced is that we've had rabbits in the garden. It started off with one cute little baby rabbit, and it's quickly multiplied into not so cute, lots of rabbits. So I'm not very pleased about that, because although we have put a trap up to try and catch them, they won't go in the trap because they're quite content coming in here for breakfast, lunch and dinner. They come across from the field opposite, they come in here and they just ravage and devastate everything that we've planted, and it's really heartbreaking seeing all the damage that they've done. So anyway, I did intend to do a little bit about mulches, so we'll head back in time now to a few weeks ago to when I was doing some work in this area. So in this video, I just want to talk a little bit about mulches. This for me is the year of the mulch, because I'm getting into mulches in a big way. Partly because it's very time saving, and as the garden kind of gets bigger, in that we are expanding the garden, we're going into new parts of the garden that we haven't gardened before, where the big trees are that have all gone in, that's all new. And I'm chief weeder in this household, because Alistair's got a lot of construction jobs to do, and although he's very good at weeding and everything, but he doesn't really have the time to do it because he's doing a lot of the building jobs. So it falls to me to do the weeding in this garden. And so I find him chasing my tail. I'm just going round, it's like painting the Forth Road Bridge. I'm just going round and round in circles. I get one area done and I look a week or so later and it's back to full of weeds again if it hasn't got mulch on it. So mulches for me are essential, particularly as I'm getting older as well. So I want to find better ways of gardening. So in this part of the garden, we've got the Amilankia lamarckii tree in the middle. We've got box hedging around it, and then I call this area the butterfly borders. And the reason it's called that is because we've got this plant called Gora, or Enothra lundimeri as it's now being renamed. And it's also known as whirling butterflies. That's its common name, because it looks like little butterflies floating through this border. And last year it did looked quite wild and quite airy and everything, which was nice. And the other thing it's got growing in here, it's got these alliums, which are the drumstick alliums, and they've definitely bulked up, and there's more of them, and they look little spherical purple circles just floating above the Enothra. And then the other thing we've got is Verbena bonariensis. Now I do thin that down because it goes a bit mad in this garden. It goes everywhere. I have it popping up all over the vegetable patch. It just comes all over. So I have to sort of tame that a little bit, but I do like it, and it stands up. It's nice and strong. It doesn't ever need staking or anything like that. And it's also another fabulous plant that the butterflies adore. So the butterflies are always really attracted to this area. So that's why I've just called it the butterfly borders. I think in the longer term, this area is going to have a big redesign, but for now, we'll just enjoy them as they are at the moment. So several months back, I weeded this side and I put wood chippings down, thick layer of wood chippings, and that's been great. It has suppressed the weeds. There's been no problems with that, and it saved my time. I haven't had to reweed it again. But we ran out of wood chippings, didn't have enough to do the other side. And as I think I've said several times, we're just having a real job getting any more, because the nursery where we normally get them, they get them from the tree surgeons. The tree surgeons at this time of year, there's obviously birds and everything nesting, so it's not a time to be cutting trees back or taking things down. So for that reason, there's a real shortage. I did look at the option of buying some, but it's quite expensive, and also we did buy some for the path in the woodland garden because it needed topping up, and we bought some bags. And yeah, it's expensive, but also more so than that, it comes in all these big plastic bags, and you have all this plastic. It just didn't seem right, really. It seemed a bit wasteful. Whereas when we get it from the nursery, we just take the trailer and they load us up, and then we barrow it in, and there's no plastic waste. So I think we'll just hold fire and wait until they've got some in. They'll have some more in probably at the end of the summer. So I haven't weeded that side simply because I felt it was probably a bit of a waste of my time. If I weed it, the weeds will be back pretty quickly, especially in this weather when it's been warm and wet. So for that reason, that's the reason I haven't weeded it. But I thought, because I've had this great success with using grass clippings as a mulch in the vegetable area, I've been quite pleasantly surprised how good that's been. I thought I might have a go conducting a bit of an experiment. So as we've got the bark chippings on this side, it would be good to compare how the grass clippings perform on the other side and do a direct comparison. So I thought that one might be quite good for the channel, so we can all see which is better. I think the grass clippings probably don't look quite as nice. However, once this all grows up, you won't really see it anyway. And I think I want to prioritise weed suppression over what it looks like. So I'm going to do it. Alistair has just cut the grass. You can just see the garden. As soon as the grass is cut, it pulls everything back in. It just looks stunning. So I'll just have a quick pan round, show you the garden as it is now. Couple of weeks on since I did the last video, filmed the spring garden tour. I suppose now we're going into early summer, so things are changing very quickly every day. So you can see that Al's cut the grass. It's all looking nice. But I need to get on with the hard job of weeding. I just want to show you these foxgloves which have just opened in the last few days. We've got the pink ones, but then these white ones have appeared. So I think that's the mother plant, and these are the babies that have been produced. So they're lovely, and they've just self-seeded. Thylicchum's still looking good, and all my little seedlings have put on a lot of growth. So back to the job of weeding. Before applying any mulch, I begin by thoroughly weeding the site well, and using grass clippings is pretty straightforward, provided you follow a few simple rules. Don't use grass clippings from a lawn that's been treated for weeds. The herbicides that are in the lawn weed controlled could carry over into the clippings and damage your garden plants, if not kill them outright. So be careful also when using wet, fresh clippings around young, tender plants. Just as a pile of grass put on the compost heap will heat up as it decays, fresh clippings will do the same when applied around plants, causing them to be burnt. If applying onto weeds on bare soil, this could be a good thing as it can burn the weed seeds too. Grass clippings decompose very quickly, and by leaving them for just 24 hours, the heat will have gone from them, and once cool, it's safe to use close to plants. So I'm applying the grass clippings at a depth of about 1 to 3 inches, and it's always best to apply any mulch to already damp soil, as this helps lock in the moisture, and moisture will also help lock the grass in place, preventing it getting blown away around the garden. Grass mulch decays much quicker than other types of mulch, such as wood chippings or straw that we'll come on to shortly, and so it needs to be replaced quite regularly for it to be effective. However, if you have a lawn, then you'll have a plentiful supply. The area is now all mulched, and I take it back. I think it actually looks quite nice. I've deliberately used the grass that had dried, so it's not this week's grass, but rather the grass that was in the compost heap from last week. So it's nice and dry, and it looks pretty similar to the straws that we've got in the parterre. So we'll wait and see how it works. It's not hot, so I didn't want to use grass that was still green because it produces quite a lot of heat, but this hasn't got any heat to it, so I think it'll be fine. And I've buttered it up quite close to the plants, so we'll monitor it, and then we'll come back to this video in a couple of weeks' time and see how it fares. Hello again, and 2 weeks has gone by since we put the mulch down, the grass clippings mulch, and you wouldn't think we've gone forward into June because it's got really, really cold, hence why I'm padded up in my body warmer and jumper. It's gone really quite chilly. So the experiment that we've been doing with the mulch, I think has been very, very good. I've been really pleased with it. It's bound together quite nicely. We've had quite a bit of rain in the last in the last couple of weeks. It's really quite locked together. It hasn't kind of been you know, flung around anywhere by the birds. It stayed put. I don't know if I said last time, we've got this rabbit in the garden, with several rabbits, little baby ones, and they're, this is where they seem to be. And there's lots and lots of rabbit droppings. We have got a humane rabbit trap there with some lettuce leaves and things in it and carrots, but they're not interested in that because they've got all my plants to eat, which is really rather annoying. So this is the humane rabbit trap, which they're not going into at all, but they are definitely very prevalent in this part of the garden. I don't know if that's just a coincidence that this is the area that I've put the grass clippings down, but as you can see, there are rabbit droppings everywhere, right up to the trap, but not in the trap. They're everywhere here. So another disadvantage with the grass clippings is that I know that they do harbour insects. So if you've got a slug problem, then probably not a good idea using them because they can hide in under the burrow under the grass clippings. And we seem to be having that same problem with the rabbits too. So I'm not sure if that's a coincidence, but the rabbit droppings definitely aren't very evident on this side where the bark chippings are, so that may be something worth considering too. So I want to just take you up to other parts of the garden. We'll go and have a look at other types of mulches that can be used as well. So I'm now here on the Hornbeam Walk, and I have got the map that Joshua did for me. He did the drone of our garden. I know several people have said to me they find it quite confusing to understand the context and the layout of our garden. So I think this is going to help. So I can put up a map just showing you where I am. So this is the Hornbeam Walk. This is the work we did recently, earlier on this year, where we took out all the planting that was under here and we replaced it with these skimmias. The skimmias are doing really well, and at the time when we put the skimmias in, we mulched this area quite thickly with bark chippings, and that's been really good. The only problem is my friend the blackbird every morning flicks it all onto the path, which can be a little bit annoying, but on the whole it's worked well. It stops airborne weeds, definitely. Things that we didn't quite get out. I knew the Japanese anemone would be a problem, and they were just in this area just in front of me, and they are starting to come through again, but it's easy enough to see where they are, and we'll have to just keep being persistent with that and keep digging them out. So the bark chippings do work well. Yeah, as I say, more of a problem on a path because they do get flicked onto the path. So that's the only thing I would say about that. And also more bark chippings that we did not so long ago here in this new area underneath the lime trees. And here is where we planted the strong Annabelle hydrangea, and they're doing really, really well, apart from one that isn't looking so good, but the rest are doing well. And we mulch this area after heavy rainfall, so it's a really good way of locking in that moisture. So that's been successful. So we'll go now to the rose parterre and look at the mulch that we've used in that area. And here in the parterre, I've used a substance called Mulch as a mulch, and I'll just show you what it looks like. So this is a mineralised straw product, and we've used that very successfully for the last probably 3 years. And I have replaced it this year, but it's definitely lasted. It says it can last up to 2 years. It's lasted about, I'd say, about 18 months. It's done really well, and it really kind of binds and locks together, and it makes that barrier so that weeds can't germinate, airborne weeds. You can still get the odd like nettle and things coming up through there, but it definitely makes a big difference with airborne weeds, because I used to spend such a lot of time weeding this area, and it's quite problematic, particularly when the roses are out and you can't kind of get in there and can't get at the weeds. So that's been a really good product. However, it is quite expensive, so I certainly wouldn't be able to do it on a larger scale area. So it's good in this instance in a small space, but a bit of a cost barrier in bigger areas.
So in summary, Mulch is a light and easy to use garden mulch made from wheat straw, and which uses a patent process which gives it this lovely earthy brown colour and makes it last for up to 2 years. The product is pH neutral, meaning that it can be used on flower borders or in the vegetable patch. Mulch will enrich your soil and improve its structure, and because it lasts up to 2 years, this will save a lot of money on fertiliser and water and make your plants grow healthier and stronger. The properties of Mulch and the embedded minerals will also deter slugs and snails.
So we'll head into the vegetable patch. You'll see we're making really good progress. with this part of the garden. I say we, it's Alistair that's doing it all, not me. But he's filled the raised borders with the soil, and then he's going to be putting this wood on the top just to complete the look, and that will look lovely. So we'll come back to that. For now, just go down here. These are all the cut flowers that were growing, so they haven't really done a great deal. They've still got a way to go, but the vegetables, the broad beans are doing well, the potatoes are doing well. And then here you can see this is the grass clippings that we did first of all. There's still some weeds coming through, particularly around the courgettes where the grass isn't, but where the grass is, it definitely has suppressed the weeds. Where it was put on really, really thick. There's a nettle there. So you can see anywhere where there wasn't the grass clippings, like here, weeds are coming back. But areas where the grass was quite thick, like here, there are no weeds. So I think that's been pretty successful. Look, there's all the weeds there. So I think that looks quite a conclusive experiment. That grass clippings seems to work quite well. The ones by the courgettes have been down for probably about 4 weeks. The one down by the house has been down for 2 weeks, so just to give you an idea. So this is the new tree area. We've got loads and loads of bare soil here, and everywhere that there's bare soil, weeds will just naturally come. They keep coming, keep weeding them, and they keep coming back, which is just what happens. Some nettles there. So that's the Cornus Cusa, looking lovely. So what I'm doing this side, there's no point weeding without mulching, as I've, that seems very apparent, there's no point. So I'm weeding in this part of the garden, and then as I weed, I'm going to use the grass clippings on this side as well, because it's been so successful. So that's my plan here. Alistair's just about to cut the grass, so as he does so, he can just tip it onto here and I'll spread them. Another week has gone by and a lot has happened in this week. So we've gone from everything looking lovely to everything slowly getting, well, not slowly, quite quickly getting destroyed. So the rabbits have continued to multiply. Definitely more of them. They're appearing everywhere. Where there are 2 rabbits, there are very quickly 500 rabbits. So it's becoming more and more of a problem. So what I've done here, Alistair has finished these raised beds. He's done a lovely job. So they are 3 sleepers in depth, and they're a good size. He's lined them with plastic on the bottom. We've got a weed suppressant but permeable membrane at the bottom, so there's no water in contact with the wood, so hopefully they will last. He's then put this capping on the top, so this is decking he's used, and this will be sacrificial wood, so if this rots, which it will do over a period of time, this can be replaced, but it will protect the wood beneath. And this has all been painted with a really good wood preserver as well, so hopefully we'll get several years out of these. Really sturdy and really lovely to be able to sit here comfortably and just potter at this height rather than being on the ground. So I'm really, really pleased with them. I had intended to put vegetables in them, however, in view of the rabbit problem and in view of the fact that Olivia's doing this garden at the Tatton Flower Show, and I was tasked with looking after some of the plants that she and I started a few months ago from seed, and they were all doing quite well. I had them all by the outbuilding, which was a bit too close for comfort near where the rabbits have been. Well, actually the rabbits are everywhere now, so I thought by putting them in here, this will get them at a height where the rabbits hopefully can't get to, unless they're going to do some circus tricks. I don't think they can get up here. So we've put them in here. What I've done, I've left them, they're in pots, I've potted them all on into bigger containers, and then I've sunk the pots into the soil, because when we take them to the show, obviously they have to be in pots. so I didn't want to put them straight in the ground for that reason. So they should be quite portable, but by sinking them into the soil, I'm hoping that way they hold on to the moisture, they lock the moisture in, because when they're just little pots, they're getting blown around by the wind, they're drying out very, very quickly. And yeah, I was finding it quite difficult to look after them. So this way, that will hopefully improve that. So we'll come on to when Olivia's home, which she'll be home next week. We'll chat to her about her garden. She can tell you a little bit more about it, and we'll discuss some of these plants. These aren't the only plants. She's ordered some plants from a nursery, but these are the kind of fill-in plants. These are meant to be the fillers. So hopefully they will bulk up a little bit. We've got another month until the show, so I'm hoping. I've never done anything like this before, so it's a bit of a challenge to say the least. So hopefully this will keep them safe. The rabbits are wreaking havoc on my flower bed. So I wondered why everything was so slow, but when you look closely, you realise that all the stalks have been bitten off. They've just chomped the stalks off, like the status. The plants look quite healthy, but I was thinking, why are they not flowering? But when I look at them closely, the stalks have been bitten off. And also, since I did that filming underneath the lime walk where the hydrangeas are, they've just ravished those. They've really damaged them. I'm really upset about that, because I had got quite a few spare plants and I've given them all away to people, and now they've been eaten. So three or four of the plants have been levelled right to the ground. So the priority for today, so we wanted to get on and finish all this area off, get the gravel in, put the paths in, put the gate posts in, do all the nice little jobs to finish this area. However, that's all come to a grinding halt, because the priority now is to rabbit proof the garden and stop these pesky things getting in and damaging everything that we've done. So we have rabbit proofed some of the garden. We did all along the head. They come in from the field opposite, and we had a problem about 5 years ago, so we rabbit proofed all along the roadside, and that seemed to solve the problem. However, they've now worked out that they can come in this way, so all along where the lilandite hedge is, this is rabbit proofed down to about the greenhouse, and then all behind the hornbeam walk they can get in there as well. So our priority now is to finish the rabbit proofing all around the perimeter of our garden. Otherwise, we're just going to continue to have problem after problem. So that's our job for today. So bit of a boring one. I'd rather be doing exciting things, but that's the way it is. These ups and downs with gardening, the trials and tribulations, every year is different. There's always challenges. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.